This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast. I'm your co-host, Phil Barrera, aka Phil the Filipino.
And I'm your other co-host, Mr. Eric Almighty. And for this edition of Creator Spotlight, we're bringing someone in that, if you know anything about the local nerd community, you're part of the villages here around town in Jacksonville, you already know our next guest, but we're really excited to be able to pull from the GAAM corner of town and get somebody in that really, Phil, is overdue to have been on the podcast, and this is shaping up to be a very fun one at the very least.
Yeah, super excited to have a guest that hopefully won't bring up the Diddy parties like Ryan did. And so the bar is very, very low. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring it up right away. I don't know what's going to happen on this episode. But as you alluded to, Eric, we are very, very excited to bring in our guest here for this month, which is Tiffany, aka Itsbatsyy. Tiff, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time, sitting up a little bit past your bedtime. Although you did say you've been getting a little bit more edgy lately and extending that evening time a bit. So yeah, we're happy to be part of that. But how are you doing here tonight? And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. What a lovely introduction. I feel so blessed to be here amongst pop culture icons today. Thank you. I'm
guys
good.
from the Collective Con video.
Yeah, the guys from the Collective Con video, the guys from the Brick City video, the guys from all those guys. Yeah, you guys talked to all those famous people, and I feel like I'm one step away from some famous anime voice actor I've never heard of in my entire life. I don't watch anime, sorry. that's the joke. I'm good though. How are you guys doing? I'm gonna pretend like we weren't. Okay, yeah, we weren't just talking for like an hour before.
We haven't been talking for a good half hour already. No.
Yeah, no, and that's what we're bringing everybody into. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm glad we were able to pay you a really nice compliment, talk about the Diddy party, and then stumble our way through into where we are now. Like, it's a nice little sandwich that, of course, only the three of us could create.
I was going to ask if you guys have heard about this Epstein guy, actually, before we got started. So.
Epstein, the financier?
Again, that's what we were talking about in the pre-show. We'll just bring up random quotes from things in pop culture that is there. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Jeff dead? No.
We're gonna have to clip that in.
Cut that.
I don't think we'll be touching on the files here, but we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen in this episode? But Tiff, if you want to take a moment to kind of introduce yourself and what you do, you have you have so many different hats that you wear, again, here locally in the community, but also creative wise. So please let our audience know a little bit about what you do.
Okay, sure. I am like a little local community building gremlin. I like to host events around town. I used to do a cozy gaming day on one Saturday of the week. That was pretty awesome. One Saturday of the month. That was pretty awesome. I do a lot of mutual aid with a group here called People's Picnic, where we have hot food and we bring out hot food out to the park and we invite all of our unhoused neighbors to have a picnic with us once a week on Mondays. I'm one half of a podcast called Tell Us Something Good Pod, where me and my long distance best friend tell positive news stories to combat the terrible world that we're all living through together right now. And I am your least favorite Twitch streamer. So I do all that. And I do GAAM stuff too. So Holiday Nerd Market. I'm often the master of ceremonies for our benefit after parties, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really great stuff that you do here within the community. And Eric and I talk about this all the time, especially when, we first started linking up with Ryan. GAAM was always something that we had always seen from an outside looking in and been like, man, we'd really love to be a part of that somehow. And then, through Botter and the JPU and everything, and then getting to meet all these like-minded creative people, getting to be a part of that process and that community has been really, really great, and getting to see all the hard work that yourself and others put into it. And Eric, we get this question a lot from a lot of the friends that we have made across podcasting, across whatever streaming, whatever it may be, that are in other places, and they're like, how did you guys do that? How did Jacksonville create this podcasting community, this nerd community? So for people that are from the outside looking in, maybe they're listening from outside of Jacksonville and they want to start that community, do you have any advice as far as how they can at least even begin to try and build something like we're very, very fortunate to have in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so I think the the main part is like consistency and openness and like showing up every week. For instance, when we were doing the like casual gaming days, we did them one Saturday every month. And at first they were really small, and sometimes it was just the four of us that were organizing it that would show up, and then 7 people came out, and then 15 people came out, and then we would have to like bring more consoles and get more tables, and like I think just being consistent and showing people that you're going to be there and creating that consistent space is a really important factor to building that kind of community.
Yeah, right, Eric. That's one of the things, not only, of course, in creating a community and creating a safe space, but also when it comes to the content creation that we have had to learn. Even as cliche and basic as that advice is, being consistent and staying on top of it is always, really a great place to start. And, that's one thing about GAAM and everything that's going on here, the consistency is one thing we can certainly rely on.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, we're going to be talking a lot about what that brings to our local community, like the Collective Con benefit after party, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But, kind of focusing on one of the many hats that you wear before we get back to that particular topic. Tiffany, obviously you talked about your podcast, and it's always interesting to have another podcaster on and to see the differences. So going to some of your last couple episodes, getting caught up, I could definitely say it's a really great experience, because the fact that you guys are long distance, I didn't really pick up on that. I picked up on just that this is a conversation the two of you guys would have on a normal day. So it now makes a lot more sense that, you're really kind of catching up, in addition to finding glimmers and grumps to be able to go through and talk out. So like what motivated you? I know you said that with everything going on in the world, you want to find that positivity, but what motivated you to take those regular conversations and move it into a medium where other people could be included? Especially considering some of the topics that you guys talk about, you're very open on the show. So what made you want to open the door to an audience to join in on that conversation?
I think sometimes people need permission to like enjoy the little things. And I think our like openness and our like giddiness about like, oh, I made time this month, like this week, to like make myself a matcha and just like slow down and read a book. And like, that was my glimmer. That kind of stuff, and inviting other people to tell us about the little or big things that made them smile that week. I think people just need permission sometimes to enjoy that. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, it started because I'm honestly angry every day about, I don't want to get too, into what the world is like outside of this podcast, but I'm really angry every day. And I do find that while I do go out and I do stuff in my neighborhood to like try and create community and mutual aid, I find that finding those pockets of joy is really like a great piece of resistance, and like being defiant with it is that's another way that I am raging against the machine, I guess.
I think all of us in our own ways are trying to find a escape route from everything from time to time. And I know for me and Phil, one of our escapes has been just talking about stuff in pop culture. And that's been an easy way to provide an escape to others who maybe are listening, who want to dive into that conversation, which is why it's really nice, even though you're talking about a lot of those real world things very openly on your show, which is very admirable. You take the time to really it's not a podcast about that. You're not just ranting and raging against the world. The fact that you're requesting and talking about people's glimmers that they sent you or that you had in your personal life, I think is such a neat aspect. When we talk about glimmers and grumps, though, are there any particular highlighted glimmers or grumps that you've had, whether it's either recently or maybe in the past year? We're still early in 2026. Have you had like one big glimmer and one big grump that you want to get off your chest? And the door's open to whatever that may be.
I mean, I'm got engaged last year. I'm pretty excited to get married in October. That's probably the biggest glimmer in my life. My partner is just an incredible man who's kind and nurturing and thoughtful, and all the things that he's just really inspired me to also be better and more thoughtful and kinder, and he inspired me to be vegan. So, that's a really major driving point. He's awesome. And I mean, major grumps, no. And the reason I think I don't have any major grumps anymore is because I fill my life with so much more than that now. Like, I honor the stuff that makes me grumpy, and then I move on from it. And I'm like, okay, I have all these other things to focus on. And I think that's another reason I really love the podcast. I started actually keeping like a little book, and it looks like a planner, but I put like a little glimmer from every day that I can find in it. So I have something to talk about on the pod.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, Phil, I know talking about all these glimmers, you can't relate to this at all because you're like the biggest grump I know. So as, the person who's just like our resident alone person, maybe you can bring a different perspective here.
It's not very glimmer of you, Eric. That's not really an attitude.
No, my grumps are right here, present and available.
That's very true. Eric's always surface level.
Tiffany leaves them at the door, and I'm like the Hulk. I've always got grumps.
Nah, man, just a quick doom scroll, and that will will bring a little bit too much to surface that we are not prepped to talk to about exactly here at this moment. No, really love that. And again, because we are in a space where we are trying to provide people with some sort of escapism from what is going on, like it's very important for us to not only try and bring some of the positive or something just that people can look forward to the forefront, but also using the platform like very, very responsibly and just making sure that people are aware of some of the things that you need to be aware of in your local community. You should be aware of as far as what's going on elsewhere in the world. And I think that's very, very important. And just getting to know you, Tiff, over the last year or so, we align with a lot of those values, which has also been a really great reason why we've all gotten so close over the last year as well. I want to kind of talk about another platform that you mentioned a little bit earlier, because of course we also have Eric in here who has hit the Twitch streaming really, really hard, and you have built up a really great community over there as well from people that are all over. I always really am envious whenever I watch you or Eric, and you guys have people in there that you have gotten to connect with over time. Just randomly came across your stream, and then now they pop in and you converse with them and catch up with them. What's that been like to find that space? How difficult was it to, again, find consistency, to use that word again, over there? And again, what's something about Twitch streaming that has just you've enjoyed, and why have you kept at it?
Twitch is hard. Twitch is really hard because it's so saturated. There's a million other people who look like you, who think like you, who sound like you, who are playing the same games as you. And I think the trick to Twitch is, again, showing up when you say you're going to show up. You have to be vulnerable to an extent on Twitch to like really make connections with other people. I think some of the Twitch streamers that I admire the most in terms of like the way they are with their community are really vulnerable people. And I think I still struggle sometimes with vulnerability in like a large group setting like that. One-on-one, I think I'm pretty decent at it, but in front of a group, I think I'm still like learning how to be vulnerable. And but it's important because when people see you, they connect with you, and they see a little bit of themselves in there. And I think that's what keeps people coming around sometimes. Yeah. And, that's it. It's just forming that and like those bonds with people, and finding the balance between that and being that, what do they call it? Parasocial, like finding that balance too is hard. But Twitch is hard. I'm less serious with Twitch now. I kind of just, whatever money I make from Twitch, I give half of it away to a charity every month now. Like, I'm not really like in it to win it like I used to be. I think it's because the only time I get to play video games now is when I'm like live streaming. So it's really where I'm doing that.
Yep. It's the same with podcasting, right, Eric? There's so many people that have these voices, and, it's a good thing and a bad thing that it's as accessible as it ever has been to not only podcast, but to stream, to do really anything. I mean, even in the space that I'm in with voice acting, I think a lot of people are discovering it's more easily doable at home. Like, all these spaces have opened up over the last few years and have become, for better or worse, more accessible to, a bunch of other people. Again, being able to, the fact that we are able to go somewhere, whether it be a convention or again hop online, and people are ready to not only like talk to us and interact with us or even recognize us from whatever it is that we're doing is incredibly rewarding. Like, what do you mean? Like, remember at Holiday Matsuri, somebody who had been following us for years recognized us, and like, what do you mean? Like, our little portion of the internet, like you wanted to make sure you sought us out. Like, all that stuff is really cool. And honestly, Eric, it's still pretty surreal, even almost 8-9 years into this thing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing it for a minute now with the podcasting, and I'm gonna be hitting my year streaming in April, which is really exciting, and it feels like I've learned so much. But just like anything in life, and again, me and Phil bring this up all the time, and I feel like for some reason we should probably listen to ourselves a little bit more. Like, you need to just do stuff sometimes to just get out there and try it. And, for every great stream that happens, there's a stream where everything's going wrong. Like, that's what I learned, and it's just kind of like part of the game. Tiffany, the other day, we're recording this like mid-February, so it'll be a little early from when this episode drops. But just the other day, from the time of this recording, your camera would just like randomly freeze, and you got a new camera, and you were like, well, it's just doing this. And now everything's, good because you figured it out. I think in podcasting and in streaming, there's a lot of those similar elements, as there is with a lot of stuff that you're doing live and in person. And you're taking a lot of that personality in podcasting, a lot of that showmanship of being a streamer, and you're combining all of that to do some hosting stuff live and in person, like the Collective Con benefit after party that happens every single year. I believe you definitely did this last year, but if you've been doing it for a couple times, or this is your second year doing it, I wanted you to kind of talk a little bit about how you got into that. Is it something that you really enjoy? Like I know you're doing it because you enjoy it, but like, how did you get into that? Did you ask? Was it like, we got to get you on board? How did that all happen, especially considering, this seems like something that might be out of your comfort zone initially, but as someone who's seen you live, you've definitely grown into it and you've gotten more comfortable, it seems.
Yeah. So fun fact about me, I'm the youngest child in my family, and I need attention or I'll actually die. So, I love being on stage. I actually went to school for theater and performance studies. I think that's why I love streaming, because I like entertaining. I really like it. I like interacting with the crowd. It fills me with joy to make other people, like making someone else laugh. That's it. Like, that's my bread and butter right there. I really love making people laugh. And I like making other people feel good. So, I think that all is pretty easy. And then I get to wear like a slutty little costume while I do it. It's really exciting for me. Yeah.
And on top of everything, also a cosplayer, I would say. You cosplay quite a bit, in addition to everything. Are you able to tell us what you're cosplaying as? Is that top secret information? Are we getting a hint? Some type of nugget?
Here.
She is a little bit more popular recently. She is a superhero, and she's like, I want to say that she's like one of the only ones that were able to take down Dr. Doom. Is that right? Did she do that?
It's a lot of hints there.
She's a little nuts, if you know what I mean.
She's a little nuts.
Yeah, I knew this already.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't know who she's talking about, you guys definitely need to make sure to make your way.
From Over the Hedge.
Yes. Yes, Over the Hedge, underrated
the
movie.
Second time that's Over the Hedge has been brought up in the last 6 months.
Another movie that we'll just bring up out of nowhere. It's really
Famously
kind of a crazy
played
pull.
by Steve Carell. So there we go. We brought it back to The Office.
You did really good there. But yeah, we got the Collective Con benefit after party, which you guys can find links to the show notes. Find links in the show notes for everything we're talking about, including this. Collective Con is going to be March 27th through the 29th, and I believe it's a Saturday night event, so day 2 of the show. And I'm sure Phil will be making an appearance as well.
It's so much fun. I mean, Collective Con is its own beast with it being 3 days, and like you really feel that third day by Sunday. But it's always just so much fun. And again, it's like you get to see everybody. And Tiff, the way that I explain conventions is it's a high school reunion, but you want to attend because like it's people you actually like want to spend time with, and sometimes you don't get to see those people all the time. You only get to see them at a convention. So to kind of bring it around to the convention space, like the three of us, we've been so fortunate to be a part of, you know, the Collective Con rotation and the shows here in Jacksonville. How long have you been going to conventions? What was your first, if you remember? Are you were you baptized by fire at MegaCon, or did you go to a different show before starting to go to the ones here locally?
Technically, my first ever convention was a Wasabi Con, where I went a couple years ago with my DIY Rouge the Bat costume that if I ever find pictures of it, I'll just burn them. It was awful. And it was fine. I think my favorite convention that I've ever been to is Spooky Empire. It is so incredible. I'm a horror girl. Like, I know I'm a gamer, but I'm a horror girl deep down. That's my bread and butter. I got to meet Heather Langenkamp, who's like my final girl idol. I got to meet Robert Englund. Elvira told me she liked my hair at that convention. Like, that's my favorite convention of all time. And like, I go to Collective Con and I go to Bold Matsuri, and they're fun, but sometimes I feel like I pay money to go to this convention so I can pay money to go buy art. You know what I mean? So, but I do like dressing up. I like seeing the cosplayers. I want to be more like brave at conventions. I think I'm still very mousy when I'm there, so I'd like to be more brave, I think, this year.
Yeah, Spooky Empire, definitely have heard a lot about that one in Orlando. The one we go to is Scaradise, well, formerly Spookala, now known as Scaradise, which has always been a lot of fun. Actually coming up next weekend, right, Eric? That's crazy.
It's soon.
Boy, the convention, end of February and March is crazy as far as how many shows that are coming up. But yeah, I heard a lot of good things about Spooky Empire, but yeah, Scaradise is the horror one that we go to, which is down in Tampa, which is a lot of fun as well. But yeah, the thing about conventions, even before we started getting involved in the scene, you know, people are very, very welcoming. So what I would suggest is like maybe even, I don't know if have you ever run any type of panel at any of the shows? You could definitely, I mean, especially if, you know, like you said, you enjoy being on stage and presenting, definitely like apply to host some sort of panel creatively, whatever you think it may be. I think that'd be a really good way to try to kind of like just get your feet wet and get established there.
Is that something you would do, Tiffany? Is that like,
could run
would
like
you
a
do
game? We did like Jeopardy one time. Like we just played Jeopardy. We just played one of the games that we played here in the podcast. Like,
you could easily do like a final girl panel and talk about it. Would that be something that like fits under the umbrella of you being more brave like this year? Can we challenge you to do that if that's not too much pressure, or what would you kind of consider under the brave umbrella?
Well, I don't know if you guys I don't know how much I can talk about it, but the Creatorverse is something that's another one of our friend Ryan's like babies that are coming out this year, and I did apply for a panel there. I don't know if I'll get it, and it's fine if I don't, but that is a panel that I applied for. So we'll see if I get that. And it is about the whole panel that I wanted to talk about is like having the audacity and being brave and doing it scared, and like the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to fail. And like at that point, so what? You already failed. Just get back up and do it again.
Yeah, and you know, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's a website now. You know, so like I feel like we could talk about the Creatorverse. You know, somebody's got to promote the event. Somebody's got to do it. So I don't think we have a date yet, but we do have a wait list already starting. You can apply to lead a session. We will make sure to bully Ryan into giving you a panel. I think that's the least that we can do. But kind of back on topic with conventions and everything that comes with it, this is going to be a nice segue to the back half of this episode where we talk just really casually about pop culture stuff in general. And you mentioned a lot of stuff that mutual interests are just gonna start creating sparks that are flying everywhere, from gaming to movies, you in the horror genre. Like, there's a lot of mutual stuff that we definitely love as well. And just kind of starting in the horror section, because that seems to be your bread and butter, that seems to be your go-to zone. You know, we talked a little bit in the pre-show about how you're just starting to get back into movie watching generally, but I would assume, other than reruns of The Office, you were always watching some type of horror movie. That just seems to be your thing. So I want to kind of get an idea of where the early love for horror came into play, maybe some franchises that were staples, and then kind of fast forwarding to today, like, what are the things you're looking for in a horror film that really gives you some meat on the bone to chew on? So again, all the way back then when it all started, where did that start? And then now, what do you actually enjoy these days?
Thank you for asking. I really do love horror movies. There's something so cathartic about experiencing fear in a safe place. I became a horror fan when I was single digits. I had a brother 10 years older than me that would babysit me when my dad was a firefighter in New York City. They would go to these fireman balls like once a quarter, I feel like. So he would babysit me. We would go to Taco Bell and get like a heinous amount of Taco Bell. And then we would go to like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, and we would pick out like 1 or 2 horror movies to watch. And Nightmare on Elm Street was my first like horror movie that I really remember sitting down and watching. And that like really just like took me out. Like I was a horror girl from then. I remember like watching Pet Sematary for the first time. Like that was the first movie that made me scream. I remember being afraid of the movie Jack Frost. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's about a killer snowman. I remember being afraid to take a shower for like a week because of that scene where he like materializes in the shower and kills that woman. I love horror. Yeah, it's the best. It's so fun. And then I really got into campy horror. You know, I love stuff like Birdemic and Troll 2, like some of my favorite like campy little horrors. And I'm really excited about a couple of films that are set to come out this year, like Other Mommy, and I'm excited about Hokum. I just watched the trailer for that. That looks crazy. And I'm excited for, there's one about a podcaster. Can't remember the name right now, but that looks scary too.
Horror is not exactly the genre that we're known for, but it does feel like something we're getting more into, as horror is kind of in this like new renaissance era, which I know is like our favorite thing to say.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you next year, Tiff, is what do you think about the current state of horror films? Because it's in a really healthy space right now. It's had a big resurgence. Again, we're seeing more and more of these horror conventions pop up as well, and in a space where like we are coming off the month of February where we did a couple of rom-coms, and like rom-coms are not aging well, and it's really hard to create a modern day rom-com that's not just paint by numbers and just something we've already seen before. But we're constantly seeing new things in horror all the time. They're like, how the hell did they even think of this idea? So what's your thought in the current space of the current state of horror? And also, do you have a preference do you still have a big affinity for the past, or are you starting to be a little bit more of a modern day horror girly?
I think one of the reasons horror is so healthy right now is because horror has always reflected the times in terms of like what was going on. So in the 70s, stalkers, like men stalking babysitters, right? Stuff like that. In the 2000s, technology was coming out. We got stuff like Shudder and The Ring. Like technology was very insidious. So, but I think like, you know, horror has always been a way for people to deal with what's scary in the present and make it not palatable, but let you face it in a place where it's safe to do so. So I think, some horror that like really stuck out to me, Weapons. I know everyone loved Weapons. Obviously, Sinners was a beautiful movie. I know that it's about vampires, but I don't know if I can like. It wasn't scary, but it was definitely like a almost like Southern Gothic to me, is how it felt. And I just loved the juxtaposition of the Irish vampires and the way they wanted, I can't remember her name, but they wanted to like turn her into a vampire because then they would get her powers, like, and that like cultural appropriation of the vampires, in that movie, the way they would like culturally appropriate the people they turned into vampires. I thought it was really gorgeous, really well done. What was the question? And you know what? I like everything. Like, I still love going back and watching the original Scream. That movie is like a perfect horror movie from beginning to end.
Are you seated for Scream 7, or have you kind of like stepped away from that? Because that's the other thing, right? Like, horror has these long-standing franchises that always make their way back some way or another. So like, if it's not Scream, is there one that like you'll go back to no matter what? You'll go back to that well no matter what they throw at you?
So I don't know if I can. I love Michelle Barrera, and I really
She's the best.
loved her as a final girl. I have some like trepidation about Scream 7 because it feels like they took Michelle Barrera away for, we all know what she said and we know why they took her, and then I feel like they just threw as much money at Neve Campbell as they could so they would get us back in the seats, and they threw as much money at Matthew Lillard as they could to put us back in the seats. So it feels, I don't know, it feels like they're like putting candy in front of me and they think I'm a toddler. I don't know how else to explain it.
You're right. No, because like as somebody who doesn't follow the Scream franchise like that, like I've watched the first 3 Screams. I can only really remember the first one, so I can't. Again, Phil, I tell Phil all the time. There's a subset of movies that I think I've seen, but what I think happened was I was at the doctor's office and TNT was on, or TBS, and I saw like an hour of it. Or, you know, I was in some local area where that was on the television, but, you know, with commercials, no way to watch it in a 2-hour time frame. So that being said, like, I definitely feel like the marketing for that movie has kind of expressed exactly the way you described it, just from afar, just knowing the Melissa Barrera stuff and all of that. So I don't know. It's a little odd, but I mean, Scream's such a big franchise. I don't know how much that's going to make the change that needs to happen. Maybe I like how many butts were taken out of seats because of the decision. And I think you are right. I think they threw enough money where they're going to be able to recover, but I don't know. It's going to be a weird setting to say the least. Phil, no Scream 7 for you, I'm assuming, either.
No, but just like you were saying, Tiff, like I love Melissa Barrera so much. She's actually one of the people that we met at Spookala Scaredice a couple of years back, and she took time to like sit there and really talk to my daughter and just have this amazing conversation with her. So we actually have the autograph picture of her in the hallway. She was so sweet. So all of that, and I know, and my sister, Scream is her franchise. So I know that she has very much enjoyed the last few. I have not watched them. Eric, I tried to watch the kill count for Scream 6, and within the first 5 minutes, Jenna Ortega snaps her leg. I was like, well, I gotta stop watching this right now.
Yes, Phil cannot stomach anything with just like snapped
broken
bones.
Limbs is like, if it's visible. If you hear it like off screen and it happens there, and you know what happens, and it's not like protruding, then I can get through it like. But like it was all there, so I was like, well, I cannot watch this skill count.
Yeah, fear is not a safe place at any point when it comes to that for Phil.
Yeah, that's I get nervous just like. So now, luckily, I have wonderful people in my life that let me know. So I've never felt more loved. I don't know if I told you about this, Eric. You were there, but I don't know if I told you how I felt at the time. Tiff, we were at up the street over at Twin Peaks, and there just happened to be a UFC fight on, and this guy like got kicked in the elbow or something, and like broke his elbow or something. I didn't see it at first, and everyone was like, "Phil, don't look!" They're like covering my eyes. Never felt more loved in my entire life. I'm gonna be completely honest.
It happened.
Everybody covered my eyes.
It was crazy because it happened so fast, and like we were all still trying to figure it out. And just seconds into the replay, we could all tell where the arm was hyperextending, and we were like, "Don't look, don't do it." We had to watch it.
And they kept replaying it because it's UFC, and that's what they fucking do. And all I could hear, like when I was looking down, was "Oh!" just like for the next 5 minutes, just people reacting to this. So
that's how I feel when my friends tell me if the animal dies in a movie. Like, oh, don't watch it. The animal gets hurt. You don't want to see that.
So I need a heads up for some of those things going into it. So that's why I don't watch a ton of horror. But again, there are just some things like, when Sinners comes around, something like that. When I've come around more so on some of the stuff like Nope and the Get Outs and things like that, where you just cannot miss that type of event happening in theaters. And you actually told us to still keep it in the realm of film, like you really jumped right back into movies or jumped into movies for really the first time. You were more of a binger and a repeat watcher, which I think a lot of us are guilty of as well. What is it about it? Why did you decide to get back into movies? Was it somebody in your life? Was it your fiance? Was it who was it? And why did you get into movies and break that pattern you were in before?
Yeah, Troy just loves movies, and I think, not to be super sappy about it, but I think to love somebody is to really get involved with their hobbies, and that's how you really see somebody, is when you start sharing that kind of stuff. So even though I wasn't really a movie girl at first, sitting and watching his favorite movies with him, and him geeking out about them and telling me all the little stuff about them, that really gave me a deeper appreciation. We would watch these YouTubes about deep cuts. I remember we sat there and watched a 7-hour YouTube one day on a day off together about all of the Easter eggs and symbolism in Hereditary, and I was like, oh my god, this movie is brilliant. And now I love that kind of stuff. So just trying to build bonds and find commonality, and I think that's an important part of building a relationship, is spending that kind of time together and enjoying each other's hobbies.
Yeah, I love that. No, sap it up. Nothing wrong with that here. Is there a film that he showed you that he really loved, that you were surprised that you really enjoyed, or what's one of the ones that he showed you that was one of his favorites that you really liked?
Goodfellas. I did not think I would give a fuck about Goodfellas,
and
now it's on my Letterboxd top 4.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's it's my favorite Christmas movie to watch now.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, we'll pretend that we're Letterboxd, and we'll just live out a fantasy that we eventually are going to get asked this question by the Letterboxd social media team.
You will.
So we'll let you go first. Tiff, what's your favorite 4?
My Letterboxd top 4 is Goodfellas, Big Fish by Tim Burton, Heathers, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors.
Nice, very nice. Eric?
Mine is Your Name, RRR, Into the Spider-Verse, and Memories of Murder. And I'm going to tell you now, Phil, there has been active debate
about putting mine, the one that I just added in?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put Puss in Boots: The Last Wish over Into the Spider-Verse really soon. It's going to happen at some point. I just don't know when I have the balls to do it.
Well, first off, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, take a shot.
Tradition here.
Mine are Jurassic Park, Goodfellas, Parasite, and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I recently moved into the 4 and took out Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was very difficult for me to do. But yeah, the way that we talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and the more I think about it, I'm like, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and I will continue to recommend it until the end of time. So the day that comes, Eric, where whoever it may be, whichever one of us, we're gonna have to put Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in there to be certified ball knowers.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be must see and must know. Tiffany, I wanted to talk to you about maybe in the last 2 years some different, because I feel like I've watched a lot more horror or horror adjacent stuff. So what I'm going to do here, just to have a little bit of fun, I'm going to name either horror or horror adjacent stuff that I have seen in the last 2 years. And Phil, if you want to fill in the gaps, I think I've seen a lot of the ones you've seen, but let me know if you've seen them. And if you have, what are your opinions on them? I'm going to start at the bottom of my list in 2024. Phil does like this movie. I did watch this by myself, and I was told that my score reflects that. Did you watch M. Night Shyamalan's Trap last year with Josh Hartnett?
No, I didn't.
Brother.
And it was, I still want to watch that movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like, obviously everybody knows the twist, right? Because they give the twist away in the trailer like an idiot. It's some guy trapped at a Taylor Swift concert and he's a murderer, right?
Yeah, that's essentially it.
Yeah. And I tell Eric all the time, the issue is he watched it alone. I saw it with my sister, brother-in-law, and daughter. We saw it in theaters, and it's so bad, but it is so much fun to watch with people. We were laughing our asses off. And Josh Hartnett commits, man, and he is so good. So bad that it's good in it, and I think he just had a really, really fun time. I'm not the biggest fan of M. Night Shyamalan. This was literally just a way to get his daughter into the movie to be a pop singer and have her music be part of the movie.
And she's a prominent part of that movie.
She is in a lot of it, but definitely worth a community watch for sure. Have a movie night, at least watch it with one other person because it lends itself to a community watch.
Yeah, and this is where I think it'll be like a fun conversation to see where you land on some of these, just even from what you've heard, because like, again, it's just not like, there's a certain like line in horror that once I cross it, I'm like, and Phil knows I don't like watching objectively bad movies. I don't get the enjoyment that other people get in watching them.
I cheese it up, man. I love it.
I just don't. I don't know if you saw either of these, so I'll quickly talk about them before go into the next one, but please interject if you have. I saw the TV Glow came out in 2024. It wasn't exactly my vibe. It looks like it might have been yours. You enjoyed that? That was. Can you tell me what you liked about it? Because I'm always curious to hear, because I feel like I am in the minority on that one.
That was actually my fiance's favorite movie of that year. He loves that movie. It's so relevant to the queer and trans experience. I think it's beautifully done. The acting is incredible. I have to watch it again. I think I've only seen it like once or twice when it first came out. So to really be able to speak to like how poignant and like good it was, I think I'd like to see it again. But it's a beautiful movie. I don't know if I'd call it horror. I think it's an existential horror, and I think if you live a trans experience, a lot of my trans friends recognize the horror in that movie, where I don't, because I don't have that experience. But I do really appreciate them explaining it to me and me getting the opportunity to understand a little bit better about their experience.
And there's a big difference. It's not a big difference in score, but to me, it's a big difference between a 2 out of 5, which is what I gave Trap, which at a 2 or lower, I just start pretty much not, like, I don't recommend that movie, personally. But a 2.5, like, it's not my jam, but I also can see someone having appeal. And this was definitely for an audience that I obviously am not relating to. So I didn't get a lot of those references to cling on to compared to the issues I had with the movie. The Man in the White Van was another one. We did an actual interview for this one last year, but that was a little bit more under the radar. So I think I'm going to skip ahead to probably one of the bigger names in Longlegs. Did you watch Longlegs in 2024?
Yeah, I did. I sat through that in theaters like an idiot.
Yeah, okay. So that was just, it wasn't just me, because that was crazy.
It had great marketing.
The marketing was so
marketing.
good. The marketing was so good. I was convinced that this was going to be the movie, but I also fell for Skinamarink. And what the fuck was Skinamarink?
I heard so much about that. Did you watch Abigail, which was a fun time objectively last year?
I loved Abigail.
Love Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that actress, the one who gets possessed at the end. She's also in Lisa Frankenstein, and I think she's in the Ready or Not 2.
Catherine Newton.
Love Catherine.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's in Freaky.
Sammy, those are fucking onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
loved
quotable.
Abigail. And again, spoiling the twist there was another crazy decision when it came to the marketing.
Yeah. And the marketing in a lot of these movies were something. The marketing couldn't have possibly prepared me for the ending of The Substance. Did you watch The Substance at all? And I'm assuming you loved it. Yeah.
Eric's in the minority for The Substance. I haven't seen The Substance. Again,
I gave it a 3 out of 5. So. I did not hate it. Listen, that movie was a 4 out of 5 objectively. Like, objectively a fantastic, like, I loved it until the twist. Until it turns into what it turns into. And I get the analogy, because the analogy's in your face the whole time. And again, this is another movie. I am not the target audience for that message. I'm going to acknowledge that. But it was the suddenness of just going in that direction that didn't work for me. I'm assuming, again, because you love this genre the way that you do, I'm assuming that was actually like an appeal to you.
Yeah, I also love disgusting body horror and I love practical effects. I think CG effects are the easiest way for me to bow out of a movie really quick. The Substance did practical effects so well, and that sudden change that you're talking about, I actually love because, and I think it's different when you're a woman, especially when you're a woman who's dabbles in entertainment, because like I feel already at 35 like, oh, maybe I'm too old for Twitch sometime, you know what I mean? And that change does happen almost as suddenly in your life as it does in the movie. So as a woman, I felt like very like seen in that moment. So,
and like I don't know that Phil or anyone else really understands like why a half star means a lot to me, because like I really I kept that in mind when giving it a 3, because like a 3 at the end of the day is a movie that I did enjoy more than I didn't enjoy it. And it's got that 3 rating instead of going further. Like that ending didn't completely ruin that movie for me. And then I understand that this is for an audience and how that audience would react to that movie. Like I get that 110%, even if that didn't land for me, not being that target audience. I don't know who the target audience for the Smile franchise is, but they managed to get me to watch 2 of them. Listen, Naomi Scott, just, great job. But yeah, the movie, that was something. That was something. Did you watch that?
No, I actually skipped the Smile franchise. I might go back and revisit it. I'm more likely to go revisit Trapped than I am revisit the Smile franchise, though.
Crazy.
Movie night! Trap night! Let's go.
That's crazy.
Watch Trap. I'll play Trap Queen. We'll play Rat Trap, the board game. We'll have a Trap night.
Trap night. I did realize I watched a lot of horror movies, Phil, I think in comparison to you in 2024. Nosferatu is a movie that sat with me. When I walked out Christmas Day of that movie, I had given it a 3 because I was like, I don't think I like this. And then I didn't stop thinking about the movie for about 48 hours. So I bumped it to a 3.5 because I was like, yeah, you know what? That was fucking weird, and I think I kind of liked it. That seems exactly up your alley. I'm going to assume the answer to that is yes.
Yep. That scene at the end where they're copulating and the sun comes up is like, oh, I love that visage so much. It was so grotesque and disgusting and beautiful, and I loved it. And I loved I loved, again, the message of it, of a woman who is honest about her desire and about her sexuality and about how that is represented in the ugly monster that is Nosferatu.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff out of that movie that I'm glad I didn't miss. Phil, I'm going to quickly kind of rapid fire some of these last ones because I saw a ton, I guess, in 2024 in comparison to 2025.
You're going to ask the question about the horror movie that we are infamous for?
Are we? Oh.
Feels like we have to talk about it with it.
Okay, so this movie didn't come out in 2024.
It's one of the first films we ever watched for a series called Late to the Party, where we watch films, TV shows that we just missed out on, and are a lot of them deemed classics. I'll let you take it from there, Eric.
Yeah. So one movie that we just kind of kept hearing about was called The Shining, maybe a movie that you've heard about.
What is that?
Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson, The Shining.
It's
pretty iconic scenery from this 1980 film. Shelley Duvall.
Rest in peace.
It's one of our lowest rated movies ever. Could you maybe explain where we went wrong on this one? Because we unfortunately hate that movie.
We fucking hate The Shining, man. You can just say it.
We hate The Shining. Phil gave it a 1.5, and so did I. So,
wow.
Any thoughts about that, really quick, since we're pivoting?
So, I'm also a horror book girl, and I have read The Shining, and I can tell you it is better than the movie. I don't know what Stanley Kubrick was on when he filmed The Shining, but it definitely wasn't a fresh reading of Stephen King's The Shining. Yeah,
didn't Stephen King not like the movie, right? Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. So I think if it wasn't called The Shining and it was just called Man Murders His Family in a Hotel, maybe it would be more fun to watch. I think everybody acted their butts off. I think a really cool and interesting fact, though, is that the kid who plays Danny had no idea he was in a horror movie the whole time.
Well, that's terrifying.
They didn't let him know that they didn't let him see anything scary. He didn't know he was in a horror movie at all.
That's honestly insane.
The thing about that, though, about The Shining is I do kind of want to watch Doctor Sleep. Like, because I've heard it's fantastic. So,
Doctor Sleep, the book is so good, and the movie is the top hat lady, Ruby Rose. What is her name? She's awful.
Rebecca Ferguson.
She's so evil. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch that as well, but again, The Shining left such a bad taste in my mouth. But rapid fire, Tiffany, a couple last ones from 2024 and then a couple in 2025. Did you see Heretic last year? I know that was one Phil really wanted to check out with Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
That's fair enough. Alien Romulus. I'm not a big Alien person, but I got so intrigued, and I actually really enjoyed Romulus. Are you an Alien and or Predator girly at all?
Aliens, Alien Romulus. Watched it in the D-Box theater with the moving chairs. Sick.
Amazing.
That's a choice. Yeah.
We just watched the first Alien film last year for the first time. It's
for the first
outstanding.
Time,
yeah.
So I need to dive into those.
Practical effects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legit. Terrifier is not a franchise that I thought I'd get into, but it is a 4 out of 5. Terrifier 3. And the 11th highest rated movie that year. I don't know what's wrong with us, but is it in us? It was just a me.
Terrifier is fun. Spoilers, the scene at the end with the fucking rat in the tube took me out. I could not. I was never seen anything like that in a horror movie. It's a little bit of edgelord content for me. Like, when someone tells me that's their favorite horror movie, I'm like, we're not the same.
Yeah, no. Favorite horror movie is crazy. It's very cruel. And I don't know why that isn't enough of a turnoff for me to, like, take the score down. I just watch them and I'm like, you know what? I kind of get the appeal. But no, favorite horror movie is kind of crazy. Wrapping things up, the 28 Days, Weeks, Years Later franchise now, just kind of as a whole, they had a movie come out 28 years later last year, and then The Bone Temple came out earlier this year. I don't know if you've been up to date with that franchise or even kept up with it at all. Has that been on your radar at all?
I think the one thing that people find surprising about me is that I don't like zombie movies. The only zombie movie I really have ever been like, that's a good movie, was Train to Busan, and that was it. Every
Fantastic
other
film.
I feel like you see Train to Busan, you don't need to see another zombie movie. Like, that's the best one.
I literally said we've literally said that here.
Yeah, we have said that.
Yeah, like, other than I would throw Zombieland in there, but as a different type.
Yeah, really hated 28 Years Later. Really liked The Bone Temple earlier this year. I would actually recommend going into that completely blind.
I've heard it was great. Troy saw it. So for Christmas, I bought Troy the A-list AMC sub. Like, I pay for him to go to see basically a movie every week for Christmas. That's what I got him.
Nice. So
that's what he saw recently. He said it was really good.
It was very good. What wasn't good was Five Nights at Freddy's. Either time. I'm going to assume you feel either differently or the same. It's one or the other with this one.
Have you seen Willy's Wonderland?
No, and I want the one with Nicolas Cage.
So much better. Same exact thing, so much better. I liked Five Nights at Freddy's 1 enough because Josh Hutcherson can save almost anything for me. That's Peter Mullark, and I lay down my life. But he could not save Five Nights at Freddy 2. That was really, that was a hard watch. That part with the emo girl at the beginning, hard watch, fam. Hard watch.
Yeah, hard watch. And I'll just throw two last ones at you because we talked about Sinners, and I could probably stretch horror further, but I'm not going to because I know Phil has a quick gaming topic to talk about before we wrap up the episode. So I'm going to throw out Weapons to you, which I do believe we casually talked about at some point or another. I do believe you did lean on the side of liking it.
Loved Weapons. I loved the director. I loved like Whitest Kids You Know was a big, like, I loved that show. So loved the 7 hot dog throwback. That was beautiful. The Weapons was fun. It was not scary. It was fun. It was a great, I mean, it had some pretty gruesome parts with the fork. But yeah, and the problem with horror is, like, I can go. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, we wanted to watch Barbarian. That's still something on our to-do list. I'm assuming you're very excited for his Resident Evil movie coming up. Maybe? No, is it
I try
too
not
soon
to
from
get
the Silent Hill movie?
please, please. That was so. And when I tell you, there was a lady next to me in the theater. She took her phone out. I mean, if you were listening, okay, I talked about it, but she took her phone out, and she's one of those people that have, whenever she gets a message, her flashlight flashes in the fucking dark theater. Her phone is flashing the whole time. I'm like, the movie's bad, so I can't complain about it, but like, that was just a bad experience all around.
Movie etiquette is dead.
No,
but
that's gone. We're
no, it's tough out here for people who just want to sit and watch a movie. The last movie I'll bring up that I watched last year was Companion. We saw it early in the year, and we both really walked away loving that movie. Was that on your radar at all?
Yep, I saw Companion in theaters. I love Sophie Thatcher. I think she's incredible and beautiful.
A January movie. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Oh yeah. But that was all I had. I wanted to run down through some horror movies just to kind of get a taste of what you've been checking out and what you enjoy. And surprisingly, not too far off on a lot of these. Just a couple bangers that are universally loved. But Phil, if you want to kind of wrap into our last topic, we talked about horror, but I'd be remiss if we didn't mention anything about the gaming side of things really quickly, since all three of us are gamers ourselves.
Yeah, you can sit this out, Eric. I just want to talk about Pokopia. So
okay.
That's about to come out here very shortly. It's going to force me to buy a Switch 2. I'm not happy about it, but I'm like, I'm going to get it. There's these rumors that we're going to be able to buy the original games. I'm going to be a shill and purchase them to play on the Switch 2, which when I finally got my hands on a Switch 2, like at a Target, I was like, this is a bulky piece of machinery. I think maybe I'll enjoy this a lot more than I thought that I would. So, but we'll talk about, of course, gaming in general as well. But I do want to start with Pokemon because we've talked about that in the past. What do you think about Pokopia? We're getting a lot of news about it, a lot of really great things that we're hearing about it. Usually leading into a mainline Pokemon game, we're hearing things about like technical restrictions and things that we're not able to do. Well, Pokopia, it's been all about, well, here's what you're going to be able to do. And it seems like a complete 180 as far as the marketing when it comes to this game. Obviously totally different from the normal mainline series that we get. So what is your level of excitement for that? And also, what do you think about the state of Pokemon right now in terms of the gaming?
First, you can't see it, but this whole wall here is full of Pokemon plushies. I would say until I die, I'm a Pokemon fan. If Pokemon has one fan left, it's me. If Pokemon has no fans, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Pokopia I'm actually really excited about because everyone's like, oh, Animal Crossing, oh, Minecraft. No. You know what Pokopia is most like? It's most like this game that I have had a hankering for since the Xbox 360 existed, called Viva Pinata. Have you heard about Viva Pinata?
Yeah, we remember Viva Pinata. Shout out to the 360.
Pokopia is Pokemon Viva Pinata. You have an environment, you add things to the environment to make it appealing to a Pokemon. The Pokemon shows up, that's your Pokemon now. I have been like, and I've had an itch for Viva Pinata for like the last 5 years. I've been scouring the internet. I'm like, I'll pirate it. I'll do whatever I have to do to put my hands on this game. Pokopia is here. I already pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it to get the stupid little sitting Ditto plushie. It's on its way. I love Pokemon. I think, I know Pokemon Z-A had a ton of haters. Fuck the haters. Can I say the F word here?
No, you can swear here. You're good.
Fuck the haters. I loved Pokemon Z-A. I loved the new battle system. I loved Pokemon Legends Arceus. Don't come for me. Super stoked. I will absolutely be buying, all of the Pokemon that they resell me that from 30 years ago. Almost planned our honeymoon in Japan so I could go to Poke Park. Almost did that. Changed my mind last minute.
You gotta go in there and just see that every Pokemon is somebody's favorite. I would just love to sit there on the plush wall and see if somebody pick out their favorite Pokemon. So,
what are your favorite Pokemon?
I am. Somebody actually just asked me this the other day. So I have a couple. Lugia is definitely up there. I like Charmeleon more than Charizard because he's kind of like an asshole. He's got a little bit of an attitude to him.
Sure.
I really enjoyed him from the anime. And then probably the third one, the third one's Haunter. I like Haunter. I seem to like the middle child when it comes to some of those Pokemon. What about you?
I'm a Magikarp Gyarados girl. Yeah, I think I always
Great combo.
really felt like a Magikarp for a lot of my life, and then I feel like kind of like the last 4 years,
Someone kicked you into a waterfall and you blossomed.
and literally like been at the gym, like I'm like bulking up. I got my hydro pump on. So I definitely feel more like a Gyarados than I ever have in my life.
And Eric is Psyduck or Slowpoke, but Psyduck with just the headache. No, none of the psychic powers.
We're not going to hate on Psyduck now. He is iconic.
He's great. Golduck's better.
Maybe.
Remember when Misty thought her Psyduck evolved into a Golduck and it was just a bait and switch?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I also love Stuffle. I think people overlook Stuffle a lot. The little like pink fairy fighting bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a leopard gecko. Her name is Chikorita.
Incredible.
So lots of Pokemon influence here. But yeah, as far as there are. I know you dip your toes in a ton of gaming. You showed off your Cult of the Lamb sticker a little bit earlier in the episode. So what other games do you like to play? Are you more of a cozy gamer? Do you lean again more into horror when it comes to that? You really are kind of like an all-encompassing type of gamer, correct?
Yeah, I like a little bit of everything. I got really into Stardew recently. It took me a long time to really get the groove in there, but I figured it out. I just finished today Alice Madness Returns, which was a great game.
Classic.
Banger.
Yeah, finished.
Mythic Pools with Alice and Viva Pinata tonight, Eric.
I'm really excited for this game coming out called Ill. I just watched the trailer for that. It looks disgusting. I'm really into
They
that.
kicked that baby at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, and a new Resident Evil on the horizon. I'm gonna play that for sure. And I just finished Silent Hill F, which was just a beautiful, beautiful game. And I'm also Fatal Frame 2 remake coming out this year. I'm so hyped for that. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, we jumped into some Left 4 Dead recently. That was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to watch you play some of these games and then go to Stardew Valley. I feel like it's a nice balance in a way. You got like all this like intense horror, and then you're just over there, playing some cozy Stardew Valley. I cannot do it.
Stardew Valley is not cozy. It is the most stressful game I've ever played.
I did watch you fight that like bug for like a solid 10 minutes. It was pretty tough to watch.
Eric gives me shit for doing a lot of simulators. Do you play any simulators?
I love the TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at this place. It doesn't exist anymore, so I can talk about it. It was called Gamer Apocalypse. And it was in Orange Park or whatever. And that's true. They would come in and we had a shower in the back, and we'd be like, bro, you need to go to the shower in the back of the store and come back out. You're not coming back out onto the floor.
There's a little machine you can purchase, Eric, in TCG Card Shop Simulator that will spray deodorant on customers as they walk in, because they'll see like a stench, the kid in Charlie Brown that has like the dirt around him. They'll literally walk in with like the green stench around them, and it will automatically spray them when they walk in. Because if stinky people come into your shop and your other customers smell it, they give you bad reviews because your shop smells.
Gotcha. So anyway, this episode's been really fun. It's been a really great time. Maybe that's where we call it. What do you think? What do you guys think?
We still have to talk about Power Washing Simulator, which the second one is outstanding. I've been enjoying the shit out of that. What did I just download the demo for? Hold on. National Park Ranger Simulator, I think. Let me see.
Okay, now we're just going left field.
National Park Simulator. Demo's out. I need to check that out.
Crazy. Can you add it to the resume?
What? Being a park ranger?
I feel like you're basically doing the job.
That is true. With all the different simulators I have, I feel like I should get to add these to my resume. But yeah, again, lots of different gaming choices floating around between the three of us. But Tiff, this has been so much fun to hang out with you here tonight. Again, like Eric mentioned, this was long overdue. It's been great to getting to know you here, of course, on this podcast, but also just getting to know you outside of this, and becoming friends and again getting to participate in stuff with GAAM and then CollectiveCon and all that. We have so much on the horizon to look forward to. So please let everybody know where they can find anything that you are working on. Of course, mention the after party that's coming up for CollectiveCon. We're about a month away when this episode comes out, about 3 weeks away from when that from CollectiveCon is happening. So please let everybody know what you're getting into, where they can keep up, and anything else that you want to plug.
Thank you. You can, first of all, you can follow me on Instagram, ITSBATSYY_ Itsbatsyy_. If you want, you can follow me on Twitch, just Itsbatsyy. Our podcast, Tell Us Something Good Pod, is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can also watch it on YouTube. We do some fun stuff, like we dress up. We dressed up for the whole month of October. We surprised each other with a different costume. It was very cute. I'm also your master of ceremonies and lead show host for the benefit after party for CollectiveCon at Ruby Beach Brewing on March 28th. It's going to be really fun. We're really going we're going out in a big way this year. I'm very excited. We have some really great photographers that are partnering with us that I just met recently, and so glad to pull them in. We're going to have a cosplay contest with prizes. So please come and party with the nerds after CollectiveCon. We promise we're going to give you a good time. I think that's the gist. Also, I make custom rugs now. I don't know if that's like something you're into, but you could see them on my Instagram. They're pretty neat.
Yeah, and everything you need to keep up with Tiff will be in the show notes of this episode. So thanks so much again for joining us. Had a lot of fun and hope to bring you back again in the future. But make sure if you want to keep up with, again, anything that Tiffany is doing, but also here at the Wait For It podcast, you'll find the Linktree link in the show notes of this and every single episode. If you want to support the show, you can do a couple of different things. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a 5-star review, like, share, and subscribe over on YouTube. And, of course, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, join our growing Discord community. All of that is incredibly beneficial. Make sure to follow both Tiff and Eric over on Twitch, where they are streaming a lot. We are streaming on the Wait For It podcast account every other week as well. And make sure to follow me as I continue to navigate my voiceover journey. Just announced a new role that I was selected for here very recently as well. So excited to share that with you guys going forward. But if you're looking to get more out of the Wait For It podcast, maybe getting episodes a little bit early or participating in the content that we release, Eric will let you know a little bit more about that before wrapping us up.
We've got a lot of fun stuff to look forward to in March, but beyond that, there's even more exciting stuff happening on platforms like Patreon, where patrons of the show, Briar, T3 Kato, Vintage, Corey from The World Is My Burrito, Nick Casparo, the author of the Vidalirium series, and Botter from the Shortbox podcast are supporting us monthly in exchange for behind the scenes and early access to episodes like this one. But in the month of April, we're going to be having Patreon month, where those patrons get to choose different movies and shows that we watch and different games that we'll be playing when we stream. So please, if you'd like to be part of that decision-making process and get all the extra perks on top of it, consider supporting us over there. But all the free stuff that Phil mentioned not only helps our show, but Tiffany's show and projects as well. So if you could take the time to do that, it would mean the world to us. But now our episode has concluded. My name is Mr. Eric Almighty. That's my co-host Phil the Filipino, and Tiffany, aka Itsbatsyy. Please remember, for the podcast, we release new episodes every Wednesday, and all you have to do is wait for it.
This is the Wait For It podcast.